I should have set some arbitrary number of he's late that I have to see before I started.
Oh.
I didn't think of it at the time. Damn it.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Jack, how you doing today, my friend?
Yeah, I'm all right. How you doing?
Oh, that's not worth talking about. Guys, this is Monkey in the Morning. I'm Monk. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody.
Jack, you got me curious now because you mentioned that we might disagree on this, and we've disagreed before.
Yes, many times.
And normally I can see in advance, where the argument comes from. So I'm very curious, and this one I can't. So I'm very curious. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not cause this to happen. Jack,
So
it is
blame.
It is amazing how many people asked me if I was napping and blame me for the Elon Trump falling out today. I was awake. I was playing Dungeons 4 on my own time, watching some house in the background. Promise, it wasn't me this time, guys. That's why there was no bloodshed.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I was awake, so no bloodshed.
Couldn't handle any more ridiculous nonsense today. It was fucking up.
It was funny.
As kids would say, it's out of pocket.
This is one of those times that my my inbox blew up with people because you guys, I really do appreciate it. You're like, this is something Monkey would be interested in. And if I wasn't so tired, we probably would have done a show around 6 this afternoon, this evening. But I was exhausted. I've been going to sleep pretty early these days and waking up between 1 and 3. And I'm like, yeah, this is probably something worth talking about later. Darth Mondo, thank you for becoming a member for month number 18. I will watch tomorrow, but it is my cat's birthday. Both Loki and Coulson turn 6. Oh, give them extra pets from me.
We don't sing for pets, sorry.
Don't sing for pets, but I do hope they have a good birthday.
Indeed. I like animals more than people.
Oh my God. So we're having dinner and Phoebe goes over to, remember I told you we bought her those bags that are infused with the catnip?
Yeah.
She hasn't really played with it since the first night, but for some reason she goes over there, gets inside of it, and must have been like huffing. Because she comes out and she just lays down with her head on her side, not turned like a cat does, but like she died. And I was like, is the cat okay? And I called her several times and she's just kind of staring at me. I'm like, oh my God, I killed the cat. And then she just jumps up and walks over to me like nothing happened. I was like, this cat is so high right now. She thinks that was all in real time. Tall person, thank you, Hoyle. Just a reminder on what an important month June is. Yes, it is National Steakhouse Month. Go get some steak, everybody. That's a good idea. Steak is wonderful.
Yes, it is. Oh, it's so delicious.
Oh, man. I made steaks the other night for Lady Monkey, and they turned out perfect. Literally the best ones I've ever made.
I'm very jealous. Nobody cooks for me.
I'm very nervous about cooking steak because it's so easy to over or undercook them.
Yeah.
And nobody in my family eats the same kind of steak. Like Lady Monkey likes hers done. Not well done, but cooked all the way through. It can have a hint of pink. And on the other side of the spectrum, my one son's like, just brown it a little. And when you're trying to cook them all together, it can be daunting. I take pride in my grilling ability, and that's one that I use a thermometer on just to make sure. Anyway, guys, we're here tonight to talk about the fight between Elon Musk and Donald Trump that is spiraling out of control into absurdity.
It was absurd at the start, dude.
The original point of them arguing with each other, I do think Elon's right. The big, beautiful bill is a nightmare. It is the same old nonsense we get from the government every time, no matter who's in there. Like, we're going to cut spending by spending a lot more.
Yeah.
It's a shit bill. For fuck's sake, it's supposed to be a spending bill, and it's got a provision in there to keep states from having any kind of regulations on AI.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, means you can't use reconciliation for that bill. This has been decided before. So now you have to get Democrats on your side to get that shit passed. I do love that. I don't know if you saw this. Marjorie Taylor Greene comes out in favor of the bill. Like, go big, beautiful bill. And then somebody pointed that provision out to her and she goes, I didn't know this was in there or I wouldn't have voted for it. Like, maybe you should have read it, bitch.
Don't these people have interns that actually work?
Yeah, that they're supposed to. Instead, they're too busy running their Twitter accounts for them.
Apparently.
Fucking stupid people. And she actually said this, the Senate needs to take that out. Like, if only there had been a representative who could have done that.
Yeah. There were a few people that opposed the bill, and the more I saw of the bill, the more I hated it.
Yeah. I knew when Massey voted against it that there had to be something worth looking at in there. And then Paul speaks out against it. I'm like, yeah, this is just crap.
Yeah.
And then I saw somebody trying to defend it, and they said that they have to put in the really bad overspending bullshit so they can get Murkowski on their side because they can't Rand Paul. I'm like, wait a minute. You're pandering to Murkowski instead of Paul as a conservative?
Yeah, that kind of tells you all you need to know about these clowns. It's just more swamp nonsense.
And what Trump is doing here with basically this is a pork-laden bill. It's the same shit Reagan did.
Yeah.
Get minimal gains to give the other side exactly what they fucking want. Yeah, you cut out some Medicaid. Great. Meanwhile, you're spending billions more.
They cut out enough that it looks like they're doing something, but if you really look at it closely, they're not doing a fucking thing. It's not going to make any kind of dent in anything. It's just it's a show pony. There's no substance here. Stephen
Miller told us, the political hack, not the writer for Red State. Stephen Miller told us that hey, don't judge this bill based on this bill because later budget bills will definitely totally cut the budget.
Look, I generally like Stephen Miller, but that's a bunch of bullshit. He's just pulling the party line because his boss said so.
Yeah, well, I think he honestly believes in it too. And look, even if Donald Trump 100% believes that any deficit increase that comes out of the big beautiful bill will be made up for in future budgets, because remember, the big beautiful bill only is dealing, especially if they go into reconciliation, which is what they want to do, only deals with mandatory spending. The problem is that the discretionary spending is where we have a lot of problems that can be addressed quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you have those bills already passed, you can't tell me that you're going to cut that money later, because I've been alive longer than 35 seconds.
Yeah, that's what they want you to think. That you know what you're talking about, but you don't have a laboratory, monkey.
I don't have a laboratory, no, but I do have decades of experience of politicians lying to me.
No, they don't lie. They just tell you alternate facts. Real quickly, thank you, tall person. And some for you, Mr. Jack. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Happy National Donut Day. What's your favorite? I like jelly filled. I'm more of a glazed donut person, but I don't eat donuts very often. But glazed donuts are delicious, or flavored donuts. I like my donuts like I like my alcohol. The girlier, the better.
I'm with you on the alcohol, but when it comes to a donut, I like a Boston cream filled donut.
Ew.
Oh,
I can't do filling in donuts. It's like eating somebody's spooge, I imagine.
It's donut and pudding.
Yeah, I don't.
How do you go wrong with donut and pudding?
That shit's a mess. You're just gonna make a mess.
Lovely. It's wonderful. It's
Last
my
time I
favorite.
ate a jelly donut, it looked like I was in a
Oh.
crime scene.
I don't eat jelly donuts because I'm not the biggest jelly fan.
Yeah, but if I'm that messy with jelly, imagine what Boston cream's gonna look like.
But no, the
You know what I'm
Boston cream
saying?
doesn't spread the same way.
It doesn't,
It's
but
pudding.
it's gonna look like somebody blew a load on my face, and I don't need that. That's
It's
the
pudding.
photo that'll start circulating if I go missing, as opposed to years and years of looking retarded pictures that I've taken, so that if I go missing, people will be like, "Oh, a retarded kid's missing."
All I'm hearing is you need to learn how to eat better.
Well, there's that, but we're not here to talk about my coordination efforts, just the end result.
That's true. That's true. Okay, 1 second. I got to take this shirt off. I was cold and now I'm in pain. So,
Oh, now you're going to be cold and in pain.
if I move too much, this is why I don't wear shirts. If I move too much, it starts to feel like it's scratching the skin off my back.
Yeah,
So
but if you get too
I
cold,
can only wear shirts for limited time.
But you'll get freezer burn.
I'll be all right. I'll be fine.
Then your nipples might fall off.
Again, I don't need them, so I'm okay with that.
I don't really know how freezer burn works on humans, so I'm not John O'Keefe. Did we lose Monkey?
Just for a second, I'm back.
You're back! Yay!
Oh man. So Elon and Musk have been fighting over, or Elon and Trump have been fighting over this bill, Jack, because Elon came out and said this bill is shit. And then Trump is like, Elon's an asshole. I'm paraphrasing. And then Elon tweets this today: time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. And this is where my inbox started blowing up, Jack.
Yeah.
He say, mark this post. The truth will come out. What say you, my friend?
I don't think this is that big of a deal, actually.
How so?
We already knew Trump was mentioned in the files. See, everybody's taking this as implying that Trump is on video or something, or on the client list as banging little girls. But no, Trump is mentioned in flight logs. That's public knowledge. We've known that for years.
Yep.
So,
good.
No, so this isn't a revelation. We already knew he's in the paperwork mentioned. But I think a lot of people are inferring, which is what Musk is doing here. He's inferring that Trump is doing something nefarious, but that's not what he said. What he said is Trump is in the Epstein files, and that's why they're not being released. He didn't say Trump's a pedophile. He didn't say there's naughty pictures of Trump with his some teenage girl holding his wiener. He didn't say any of that, and why would Elon have access to that?
For the record, the client list, none of the stuff where the people are like, we need the client list, none of that would have pictures or anything. It's literally just who was like at the island, who was on the Lolita Express. Because remember, not the only plane that Epstein had.
Yeah.
Where I disagree with you on that is the first line: time to drop the really big bomb. It's not a really big bomb unless he is absolutely implying Trump's a pedophile.
Well, he's inferring it. Yeah, I think that was the point, though, is to make it look like that's what he's saying. But if you just take his words literally, he says Trump is in the Epstein files, which is true. So from a defamation standpoint, he didn't actually call Trump a pedophile. And Elon may not have known that information has already been out, that Trump used to hang around this dude.
No, because I mean, he goes on his timeline. There's other stuff, like he posted a video of Trump back in either 92 or 98, I forget the date, talking about Epstein and how they were friends at the time. Elon knows exactly what he was doing here and exactly what he was saying.
Well, yeah, but he worded it in a way that is crafty because he's gotten out because we all know that Trump's mentioned in the files. But if he
Legally,
gets
look,
accused of,
Trump may not be able to sue him, but he's clearly calling Trump a pedophile here.
he's implying it. He's not calling him one.
He's calling him a
Legal
pedophile.
distinction.
I'm not in a court of law right now.
I understand that. And yes, that is the inference that he's making here. But he worded it in such a way as that he has some ability to back off it later if he wants.
Again, legally, because Elon has gotten in trouble for calling people pedophiles before legally.
Yeah, which is
And
why
yeah.
I think it's worded the way it is and not saying, explicitly saying that he's a pedo because he's been in trouble for that shit before. It's just a sneakier way of implicating someone for something they may or may not have done.
Over on the Streamlabs, hang on, let this load up here. Ow. Keldrick, thank you. Elon is acting like an angry ex-girlfriend with this Epstein shit. The bill has problems. Criticize the bill. Don't act like Trump dumped you the night before prom. Yeah, I don't get why he escalated to this.
I don't either. This was such an overreaction. I think they had some kind of argument, like most couples do, and they both have fairly large egos. They're both used to getting their way. They're very powerful, very wealthy men. And I think Elon's ego got bruised one too many times or something because the EV mandate went away. And now this bill, which is just more of the same disguised as something productive. And Elon must have gotten frustrated. And I don't know. Somebody said something to somebody, and here we are. Because they're both acting like middle school girls.
I haven't seen Trump go to this level. This is just bad.
It's a terrible look. I think Elon overdid it with this. Then Trump responded by saying we're going to look at cutting their subsidies for SpaceX, and then Elon responds with, "Well, we'll just shut down the Dragon then," which effectively grounds a lot of the U.S. astronauts. It's been just a slap fight between two very high profile people.
The Dragon thing, Elon has come out and said he's not doing that. I saw that on his timeline as well.
Oh, did he? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that'd be dumb.
This is the one that bothers me, though.
Yeah,
because
it's childish.
It's not that it's childish. This has been one of the talking points that the left has used for a long time to try to take Donald Trump down and call the guy a pedophile. Look, I hate his fucking bill. It's bad.
Yeah.
But to escalate to repeating what is a lie. Look, I understand what you're saying about the legality of it, and fine, but fuck that. He's calling him a pedophile, and he's doing it based on shit that he has to have already known. I'm not going to believe that Elon didn't know that this charge has been out there against Trump.
I agree. I think it's a baseless charge because we haven't seen anything that actually implicates Trump. Because if Biden had that, his cronies would have leaked it.
Yep.
And, I can't possibly believe that during the election that would not have come out. So I think it's a baseless claim. It's just a stupid thing to say. It's taking things way too far. And I think it was a dumb move on Elon's part. But people do dumb things when they're angry.
Yeah.
Monkey. Monkey, 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 monkey. Okay. Well, I win by default. Flew on the plane and kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. That's why I think the semantics of it are what's going on here.
Sorry about that.
Right.
I just switched to the other internet, so that won't be happening. I don't think we're watching videos tonight. So anyway, this is a line too far, and I saw people in the chat saying he's just having an autistic meltdown kind of thing.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it is a line too far. It is.
Yeah,
it's not something you can easily walk back. On the upside, I hate to dominate here. Do you have something else?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was interrupting you. I hate doing that. I did see an interesting conspiracy theory about this. This whole thing is fake. It's really just their way of forcing. It's Elon and Trump's way of forcing the FBI to release the Epstein files.
Yeah, I don't see Donald Trump going along with one of his biggest supporters in the election, calling him a pedo to get those released.
Yeah, that may not have been part of the plan. I mean, people like to improvise, don't they?
I people suggesting that the two of them were working together in this, and if it wasn't for this tweet right here, I could probably go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I love a good conspiracy theory, but this tweet really kind of shoots a big old hole in that foot, doesn't it?
For the next 4 years, we are going to hear nothing but, even Elon said Donald Trump molested children.
Yeah, it's weird that if that's true, then why did Elon leave his kid hanging around Trump? Because Trump apparently watched his kid for a while.
That's fair, Monk. I'm identifying it as an autistic breakdown. They do go too far. For the record, it's not just autistic people who get their, I don't want to say feelings hurt, but people get their feelings hurt all the time and lash out and say things they shouldn't. It's a normal thing to do. It's not a normal thing to do it as such a high-profile person about another high-profile person without some kind of evidence.
Yeah, it's really hard to walk something like this back.
Yeah.
Real quick, though, thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. The only thing that could be positive in this is a very slim chance that this is all WWE shit and it's a big psyop. See, that's what I'm saying. I highly doubt that. I think it's just an autist throwing a tantrum. Yeah, I think it's two people with large egos slap fighting, and this is how they do it. And Elon's got a big platform, and so does Trump. And they each have their own platform, so they can spurg out all they want. I think in the end, they're probably going to dial a bunch of this shit back, and everything will be fine. They may not like each other or really work together again, but in the end, it's gonna quiet down. But this accusation is gonna be out there forever. But thank you, Dark Resurrect. Appreciate it, man.
Chuck and Bear, thank you so much for becoming a member for month number 7. Hi, guys. Is Elon trying to tank Starship? Because making an enemy of the president who controls the FAA is a great way to do it. Shaking my head. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. There's already some evidence of him trying to, I don't want to say walk this back, but make nice, because somebody, I forget who it was, but tweeted out that we, as a country, we really need these two guys to get along. And Elon tweeted back that, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, you can hate someone and still work with them, and be productive with it.
You can, but look, we've talked before about how Donald doesn't take stuff personally, arguing back and forth and shit.
Well, he's got that showman blood.
Yeah, I mean, little Marco and Lion Ted and these people that he ends up having to work with, and they work with him, because that's just how politics is done in New York.
Yeah, that's how everything is done in New York. Everybody's an asshole.
I don't think that carries over to you're a pedophile.
That's a rough one. Yeah, but like I said, I think they will quietly come to some kind of agreement where they either stay out of each other's way and work together when necessary. But it's mostly going to be like JD Vance is the middleman between them from now on. That would not surprise me at all.
Manoa, thank you so much. No way this is fake. Elon has lost billions with Tesla stock plummeting. A shame Elon had to burn this bridge like this. No way they will ever be friends after that. Man, what a spurg. Yeah, and you know what? It may very well be that Elon thought that this is, he's just having a fight with Trump. And in his little spurgy brain, he was like, I got the ultimate Trump card, so to speak, and dropped this and not realizing that's a deal breaker, bro.
Yeah. Trolls online sometimes don't remember where normal people draw lines. So
yeah,
him being a more nerdy kind of guy, I could see him throwing out accusations like this or statements like this and not realizing the long-term implications.
yes,
because for somebody like him, it doesn't matter what you say about him. He's still the richest man on the fucking planet.
Yeah.
So he lives a different life than most normal people. So him saying some dumb shit about somebody, it's just kind of water off a duck's back to him. So he may not realize how far this could go.
Bullwinkle, thank you. Theater, there will be a surprise ending. I don't think without a public apology that Trump and Elon are going to be hanging together anymore.
Probably not. Like I said, they'll end up kind of working together on stuff like space exploration or space shuttle shit, but they're not going to be seen together in public. I don't know. Still, I think it'd be really stupid to cut the space program because Elon's nailing it. Although Putin did come out and offer to broker a peace accord between Musk and Trump.
Who did? Putin?
Putin.
Nice.
I was like, do it.
Did you see Nancy Mace tried inserting herself in this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That woman.
You know what? I have tried to insert myself into Nancy Mace a few times, but no takers yet.
I think she wants that Elon baby money.
I don't blame her. There's a lot of money to be made in Elon babies. Just
Dark Resurrect.
Ashley St. Clair, who offers breakup advice.
Dark Resurrect, thank you for that feminist $12. I just want people to remember Elon was never on the right. He was a Bernie bro and is a diehard environmentalist. He just happened to be decent with money. Well, I mean, by that same accord, Trump isn't really on the right, as our big, beautiful bill shows us.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. I mean, he was a fan of Andrew Yang. He is an environmentalist. The whole reason he's sticking with Tesla, even though the EV market is crashing because it's trash. Nobody wants your cars. But it's crashing out because old-fashioned cars still work the best.
Yeah, and EVs, when the battery goes, you're buying a new car, and they're too expensive.
But yeah, his EV push is for environmentalism, not because he just really likes battery-powered cars.
Yeah.
Which, as we've mentioned many times, is kind of ass backwards if you're trying to save the environment. Maybe pulling up the really, really toxic chemicals is not the right way to go.
What? And then they catch on fire really easily and to do massive environmental damage? What are you talking about, Willis?
BG says, yeah, Trump is a 90s Democrat, which puts him to the right of most rhinos. That's fair, too. I mean, the sad reality of our political world is that we are becoming Europe, where even our right wing is mostly left.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these guys go out there and repeat the popular talking points of the left. They try to put a Republican spin on them, But it's like, no, abortion should be safe and legal. Like, why? Well, because somebody might get raped.
Well, even on the off chance they actually say something conservative, they don't follow through 99%
Never.
of the time. They're a bunch of treacherous sellouts, and you can't trust them.
I don't think they're sellouts at this point anymore. I think they're just liars.
Yeah. Well, you
They're
can't
they're
trust,
all McCains.
you can't trust politicians, man. Just the state of the world.
And
Real
this
quick
is
though. Oh, sorry.
real quick. I still mostly like what I see Trump doing. I still like Elon and a lot of the stuff that he's done. Look, we wouldn't have this show if it wasn't for Elon.
Oh,
Being
absolutely.
honest.
Yeah.
But
Look,
I can still think both are dickheads.
yeah, they're both acting childish, and look, I like both of them overall, but they need to stop this nonsense. It's getting a little silly. Don't take it public, guys. Just keep it behind closed doors and just quietly start ignoring each other. But real quick, thank you, Evolved Potato. Something strange with a lot of criticism of the big, beautiful bill I've seen is not criticism of the spending and business as usual debt increases, but criticism of banning regulations on AI. Not as part of the bill, but it's bad in general. Yeah, they're doing some weird stuff with AI. I don't know why people aren't paying more attention to the debt increases, since that's a slightly larger problem. But I think the bill's overall shit anyway. So, but thank you, Evolved.
My problem with it is when it comes to the AI thing is that's not the federal government's business to tell states you can't regulate stuff in your state. I'm
Yeah.
not a big regulations guy,
Yeah,
but I am
no,
a states' rights guy. And if California wants to do this kind of shit, let them. The rest of us benefit and they can fuck themselves if AI is a good thing for us. The other issue there is I really don't like it when the federal government gives a blank check to certain people. I mean, we saw this with COVID. Like nobody can sue the manufacturers of these things that we're going to make you take.
yeah,
Anytime the government is putting in blanket protections, I get nervous.
as you should.
It's none of their fucking business to begin with. So maybe they could try to sneak it in under like FCC rules, but probably not.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot of subtlety these days with the government.
Anyway, these two idiots are having a slap fight, and I do kind of blame Trump for this post even. And here's why. Donald, you're smarter than this. You know you're dealing with a slightly retarded man here.
I will never call Elon Musk retarded. He could kidnap us and put us on an island.
I said slightly.
I don't want him hunting me on an island, monkey.
He's not the most clued in individual, especially when it comes to personal interactions. And so you attacked him a little bit, and he took that as a horrible insult. So he had to one up you, and he drops this. It's kind of Trump's fault if we're being fair.
So far you've said Elon's retarded and a spurg.
Yes.
So would you care to disappear yourself, or you're just gonna wait for the van to pull up?
For the record, I said slightly retarded.
So I'm only gonna slightly make you disappear.
I'm gonna slightly disappear. No, I do. I blame him. You have to know who you're talking to. And with somebody like Elon, of course, this is going to be the thing. He went to the worst thing he could think of.
Yeah. I think Trump has a bad habit of publicly admonishing people in an aggressive way that is often not that called for. So, yeah, this is just a clash of egos. And I hope they knock it off soon, because I'm really tired of hearing about it. I don't really give a shit that they're mad at each other, as long as things get done and we get a space station on Mars and go exploring space. Let Elon do that shit and just don't talk to each other like grown-ups. God, everybody's gonna need a timeout. But thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. I also wish more people would pay attention to the whole Plantier situation going on.
What Plantier?
Palantir.
I'm not familiar. Are you typing it in to look it up?
Yep. You
okay.
know I am. It's stock. What do they do?
No clue. Never heard of them.
It's a software company that specializes in data analytics and big data platforms. They provide software that helps organizations integrate, analyze, and understand vast amounts of data from different sources. Palantir's platforms like Foundry are used by both commercial and government clients to streamline data operations and enhance decision-making processes.
Huh.
That sounds like some CIA shit right there.
There's several people in chat right now saying that this is basically a work. This is Elon and Trump working together. Again, not with this tweet.
That this is the company that's going to be compiling information on Americans for the government.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's scary shit. I don't like that. That's something Trump's doing that I don't like.
There's a lot of stuff that Trump does that I don't like, and I saw a tweet the other day that said it was some chick, I forget which one said it. I will always stand behind President Trump. I voted for him. I don't regret it. And I was like, you're not helping the cult accusations, lady.
No. Dark said Palantir was founded by the CIA after Congress shut down the data harvesting. That's what I thought. I didn't know their name, but I had read the article about them doing this database thing on Americans. I think that's really dangerous. Because that's going to end up being the Democrats' enemies list when they start going door to door to round us up after the Communist Revolution. Not that I'm a conspiracy theorist, but it's coming. Real quick, though. Thank you, Frosted. Elon alienates all supporters by attacking his former friend. iDubbbz. First time.
Right.
But yeah, as a Spurg, I can admit that sometimes I fail to read the room. Kind of like how some people fail to read their Twitter DMs. Monkey. I like how you back-ended that cheap shot in, Frosted.
Did I have a DM from you?
Apparently.
Oh, I can't, my friend. I can't. I'm sorry. Yeah, I missed that. Look, it's not my fault I'm popular and forgetful. More forgetful than popular, for being honest. No, and I'm not trying to blame it on this, but I have had an issue lately, and I don't. You don't have your DMs open, so I don't know if you have the same issue. But a lot of times, it'll tell me I have no new messages or anything, and then I'll get a message and I go look at it and I have a shit ton of messages. I had to clear out 20 spam messages today, and I had none 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah, it used to do that to me, and people just stopped messaging me because I don't respond. Yeah, if you message me, yeah, sorry. I'll get to it eventually. I got a lot going on right now.
Devil says, I do think Trump is better than Democrats. He is, but that is such a low bar.
Yeah, it is. Which is sad. I mean, we should be doing better as a country, but we have too many communists.
I will always take Democrat light over Democrat. I don't want to say always, if political things ever change, then maybe that changes. But at this point, Democrat light over Democrat, because at least it slows it, right?
Yeah. I'll take a 90s Democrat over a lunatic modern Democrat.
Yes. The problem is we get, and this is why we're turning into Europe, is because we have these extreme lefties, and then moderate lefties look right. And so that's what gets pushed, where actual conservatism, actual minding your own business, actually getting the government out of your fucking life that takes a back seat to it to, well, we'll only invade your life a little bit today.
Yeah, because if there's one thing politicians love, it's getting involved in your life because they know better than you.
And it's sad. We need more politicians like, and even he has his problem, but like Rand Paul. Rand Paul, like, you're spending money. No. Yeah, there you go. It's that simple. We do not have this money to spend. And it doesn't matter what my personal belief is on what we need to do for X cause or Y thing. We don't have the money for this. The end.
Yeah, we have to cut the budget and we have to get rid of the illegals because they're parasites leeching off of us, costing us more money.
The cuts to things like Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security that they've talked about are needed. I know nobody wants to hear that, but they are. But if you're going to do tax cuts, because remember, Trump is not just solidifying the 2017 tax cuts, making them permanent. He's adding to that. So we're cutting the money coming in and not cutting enough to make up for it when we're already in debt.
They massively need to gut a lot of the government agencies.
Yes.
Start shutting shit down. Pull us out of NATO and the UN. They don't do us any good anyway. They just bitch about us. And that's a huge amount of money.
The amount of spending that is mandatory now is ridiculous.
Yep.
Anytime you hear people talk about the budget, they always talk about cutting things that are discretionary, which includes the majority of the military.
Yeah.
And that's why they're always like, the military is such a big part of our budget. It's really not. It's a tiny part of our budget. The overwhelming majority of it is stupid ass entitlement programs we don't need.
Yep. We need to get rid of this welfare freeloader mentality. It's incredibly dangerous to our country and has been since Johnson.
Do you remember when Obama was president and they made a big deal out of him saying, 43 million of you can be on food stamps. Come get on the food stamps with us. And that was preached as a good thing. Look, Obama's bringing 43 million more onto food stamps. You mean the thing we already can't fucking afford?
Yep. Just lowering the bar so we have more parasites. Look, I am convinced that Obama was intentionally trying to collapse the economy so he could bring in his communist utopian ideas.
I have said for a long time that Obamacare was meant to bring us single payer. Because it makes sense in no other regard. Giving people shittier health care, when you're telling people, oh, your health care sucks, giving them worse health care at a higher price, it's just going to force people to go, well, this didn't work either. Go ahead and take care of me, daddy.
Yep. We're going to have to fix it more. We're going to have to fix it harder.
We have reports that the whole Fast and Furious bullshit that they pulled was so that they could get gun control passed through by getting Americans killed.
Yep.
It was their plan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's not even hidden. It's right there.
And when Eric Holder was called to task for that, he said no. And the court said, yeah, he's fine. He doesn't have to answer any questions about that.
Of course.
Donald, you really want to impress me? Release that shit. Let's see all of the Fast and Furious files.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, our government is shit. And yeah, Donald Trump, way better than Kamala Harris. But he's still not good. He's still going to do leftist stuff because that's where everybody is, because of the indoctrination that's gone on for fucking 60 years.
Yep.
How dare you have any kind of conservatism? Get fucked.
With apologies to Rumble, I typed hi to everybody and hit enter.
Oh, hi, everybody.
So, hi, Rumble. Hi, Brand. Thanks for dropping links.
You know, yesterday when I sent you the link, I had to send it 3 times. I actually stopped and waited to make sure it went through after the other day.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with X right now. Maybe Donald Trump's fucking with him. Yeah. Anyway, I don't mean this as a bashing of Donald Trump, but it is funny to me to see so many conservatives being like, he's not being conservative enough. And I'm not talking about, or he's the perfect conservative. I'm not talking about people like Bill Kristol and them who decided they didn't like Donald Trump because he doesn't want to kill everybody.
Yeah, a bunch of warhound neocons.
Because you can't tell me that Donald Trump is not enough of a conservative and then back Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Well, their idea of conservative is warmonger.
Yes, exactly. But if we're just being honest about it, this is why I don't understand why Democrats hate him. 20 years ago, he'd be their perfect candidate.
Yeah.
Because 20 years ago, even they were talking about closing the border.
Yeah. Closing the border. He's okay with gay marriage.
Yeah.
He has a lot of left-leaning impulses. So, yeah, it's just.
Do you remember when he told us Caitlyn Jenner can use the ladies' room at Trump Tower?
Yeah.
Again, I will take Donald Trump over the modern left every day, but he's still left. He is still left. And it's why it's so funny to watch the Democrats fighting against him. Like, he's giving you what you want. What's wrong with you?
And here they are siding with terrorists and wife abusers.
Yeah.
And pedophiles. We live in weird times, man.
I told you guys when the whole tariff thing kicks up that tariffs were a Democrat thing. The whole idea of a one world economy, open markets everywhere, was a Republican idea. And the Democrats fought against that because of labor unions, because it doesn't help the labor unions to have an open economy like that. But Donald gets in there and suddenly tariffs are the worst thing ever. And then you start seeing the videos pop up of Nancy Pelosi on the House floor preaching in favor of tariffs because that's a Democrat idea. And for the record, one they're right on. Just saying. Because an open economy like that, a world economy, your shit like TPP and NAFTA and all this nonsense doesn't help Americans at all.
No.
And it was Clinton's greatest coup to take that on as his own. Excuse me. Bullwinkle, thank you. So Donnie and Elon have a public fight. People publicly choose sides. A new list is created. A new list of what? I'm not taking a side in their fight. I have a side in each of the issues in their fight. I think Elon is right about how much that bill sucks.
Yeah, I do agree with Elon that Steve Bannon's a whack job.
Steve Bannon is such a douchebag, man.
Yeah. Oh, Catturd got real worked up today too. He was bitching, moaning about Alex Jones.
That thin-skinned pussy got upset. Weird.
I know you're shocked.
Yeah. Every so often I see his tweets now because since Elon allowed it so you can still see when you're blocked, you just can't respond to him. Occasionally people will retweet him and now I can actually see what he says. And yeah, most of the time, like, you're an idiot, dude. But yeah, Steve Bannon looks great. Sure. Or greasy. Okay, that makes more sense. I like
Yeah, it does make a lot more sense.
Like, you think he looks great. Okay. Yeah. I apologize for besmirching you there, Jariah. He does look greasy. That is true. Bannon is yet another one of those people who occasionally says stuff I agree with, but most of the time I listen to the guy and he just sounds like he's trying to get attention. He's good.
He's got George Tsoukalos's hair too.
He's trying to be outrageous because that's what gets you clicks. That's
he's trying to discount Alex Jones.
Who was it that used to run? Oh shit, what's his name? Breitbart. He wants to be Breitbart, and he's not smart enough to be Breitbart.
Yeah. Andrew Breitbart was a pretty smart man.
Yeah.
Especially compared to Steve Bannon.
Yeah, but it's kind of like when Sam Harris is so desperate to be Hitchens, but on the political level.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
That's haunting.
A couple of things real quick. Thank you. Manoa. God, my fucking eyes are getting so bad, Jack. Thank you, Manoa. The problem with Trump is that his opinions change every day. I'm going to read the rest of what you said there, but you're not wrong on that. That until he makes a decision, a definitive decision, it can be very hard to pin down what Trump actually believes. And somebody once said of him, he will agree with whoever speaks last. I think that's a little bit unfair, but I do think that he tries looking at things from every perspective, and sometimes that leads him to give grace where he shouldn't.
Yeah.
All right, and let me finish that message there. One day he hates Zelensky, the next day he hates Putin. One day he turns on Netanyahu, then he's suddenly anti-Iran. Do you get what I'm saying? I hope I'm not sounding stupid. You don't sound stupid, and you're not wrong. I do think you're being a little too what's the word I'm looking for here, Jack? Definitive. Because with Trump, you do have to understand that especially when it comes to people, like you mentioned, he likes Zelensky, then he doesn't. He likes Putin, then he doesn't. What he's typically in those cases talking about is their actions. It's not them as people that he's talking about. And this is something especially younger folks these days have a problem with. If Jack did something I didn't like, short of, well, you know what, let's not use Jack. Let's talk about our friend Nick Rekieta. I can still look at what Rekieta did back in the day, before the charges and everything, and be like, he did good work. I liked how he did it. He was entertaining. And then he falls from grace. I'm like, what he did there was fucking horrible. He needs to take accountability and take care of his kids. And then if he got his life cleaned up, I could come back and go, yeah, he's got his life cleaned up and he's doing well again. So many people today would be like, you're flip-flopping on him, without taking into account the actual situations going on. Because you're supposed to be ride or die or hate completely. And Trump's like almost 80. He comes from an entirely different time. He comes from a time when you could tell your friend, you're being fucking stupid. And they wouldn't go, oh my God, how dare you? They might be mad at you for a day or two, but then you go get a beer together.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, and you're not wrong in the overall, but I do think you're being a little too hardcore, limited scope. Not limit. You're not limited. Fuck. You're using a very limited scope there. But anyway, thank you, Elon Musk. Yeah, now I'm in trouble. Trump can't deport me because he knows I'll get custody of Vance in the divorce. I just wish our breakup didn't have to happen during Pride Month, sigh. Now I'll have to find someone else to Cybertruck with online late at night. Fair. Good luck with that. I'm sure Ashley will take your call.
Yeah.
No, it is fair to, if you just look at Trump in the overall and like, oh, look how he bounces back and forth. I gave the examples of the people he ran against in 2016. He was horrible to those people. And since then, he's hired many of them. Or they've shown up at rallies with him and they talk. And you see the modern media like, how can you, like they'll talk to Ted Cruz. How can you be friends with Donald Trump when he said that about your wife? Because they're in politics and they have to work together, shithead. The idea of people being rude to each other in politics is not new. We're just paying attention to it now. I mean, some of the shit that people said about each other back in the day, go look them up. The Jack Kemp Bob Dole one is always my favorite, where Jack Kemp said Bob Dole's library burned down last night and he's really upset about it. He's almost done coloring some of those books. That was a senator talking about another senator, and then they had a beer together.
To be fair, it's pretty funny.
It is funny. And yes, I realize that's an old joke, but that's the first time I heard it was when Kemp used it.
Yeah. To be fair, most of the time that joke would be too smart for a politician.
True.
They're not real sharp people.
Yeah, it's weird to me watching stuff today because you're not allowed to have any kind of
nuance,
insult in any kind of discussion with somebody because, oh my God, you must hate them. Like, no, it's talking.
Yeah, half the time it's just poking fun.
Yeah. Jiraiya, thank you. Coining a new phrase, judgy mentality. It's got legs. Or sorry, judgy mental. I see what you did there. Okay. I apologize if you're new around here. My eyesight's going and reading small text can be really hard for me. So if you are trying to get my attention, remember, guys, you can still use caps. It makes it a little bit easier for me. I blame women. Me too, Dark. Me too. Because it is the... See, now I've been venting about women lately. I'm not even mad at women. I don't know why.
You don't have to be mad at them to point out the truth.
When it comes to stuff like this, it is because women are the ones who are like, you have to be civil at all times. And that's not a natural thing for men to do. It's why I like British politicians so much and watching their fights in their parliament. Because they're like, that dickhead over there, he's wrong.
Yeah, but they're a little too snooty about it. I want to see the Australian parliament where they're calling each other the C word all the time.
Yeah, that would be a little bit better if they did it.
Yeah, I bet they do. They just do it like behind closed doors where we can't watch.
I like the British politicians where they're more on the nose about it, where here in the United States, like the distinguished gentleman across the hall over there, he and I disagree on this just a little bit. No, that asshole over there is wrong. Manoa, thank you again. I mean, you'd agree that Trump also changes his position often. One day he wants a transgender military ban, and the next he's inviting Bruce into the women's room. No, because those are two different things. I believe me, I do understand what you're saying, but I think you're being too just a little too harsh in your interpretation there. There is a massive difference between Donald Trump saying, in my personal hotel, this place that I own, I will let trans people go into the women's room. And I don't think trans people should be carrying guns on the front lines of battle. Those are two entirely different situations. I think he's wrong about the bathroom one.
Yeah, there's a lot more nuance to that because they're two separate arguments, and you can have a political opinion that that your constituents are in favor of and do something slightly different looking on a personal issue. The bathroom thing is a lot different than having people in combat roles. How do you transport the medications? Do you have to worry about people that are allegedly mentally unstable? There's a lot more issues involved with logistics in the military than there is with somebody coming over to your place to use the bathroom.
Again, thank you, Manoa. I know this is random, but I just wanted to lighten the mood, and I'm actually curious about your thoughts. There's a video of Ali freaking out because despite him donating $1,000 to Nick wants nothing to do with him. What do you think about that? Ali who is that?
I haven't been keeping up with all the Nick drama. It's so tiresome.
Yeah, you don't have to drop it in another donation. You can. I love donations, but I'm not sure who that is. And just because somebody donates to you, just in the general on the overall topic there, somebody donating to you doesn't mean you owe them shit. The only time that a donation means that somebody owes you is if they're raising for a specific thing. Like, I'm raising for cancer research. My name is Boogie. and or I'm ready for my cancer meds, and then he doesn't have cancer. That person owes you your money back because they lied to you. But if it's just a creator who you support on whatever grounds, they don't owe you shit. So anyway, Ali Jamal, I don't know who that is.
I don't watch Dick anymore. He's kind of lost his mojo, and I think he's still doing something unhealthy.
I really only watched Nick's stuff when he was doing a court case I was really interested in. Same thing. I tend to watch things only when I'm interested in the subject matter. So I don't know who that guy is. I just looked him up and I have no idea who he is. Still looks very skinny. Yeah, he's still got that what do we call it? Cocaine chic going on. Anyway, everybody keeps saying whippets, and I've heard people. I don't know where anybody's getting that from, other than somebody said whippets, and everybody just started repeating it.
Because a nitrous tank was found at his house.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah,
so
I guess that makes sense.
Doing whippets, yeah.
But
it's cheap and easy to get.
But from a nitrous tank, you're gonna fuck your whole. Okay,
Dude,
never mind.
I just work here. I don't know. I don't. If he's doing whippets, that shit's dangerous. You're gonna really fuck yourself up.
Thomas Jefferson, thank you. Civility in politics, perish the thought. Let me remind the media of the time I published a newspaper in saying John Adams is blind, bald, crippled, toothless, hermaphrodite who imports mistresses from France and whores his daughter for King George. Was that? I thought that was Hamilton who called Adams a hermaphrodite.
I'm sure more than one person called him a hermaphrodite. I mean, sometimes nicknames stick.
Yeah, look, it's been a while since I've delved into the John Adams has such a weird career because he was like the most milquetoast motherfucker ever, despite what the HBO documentary or docudrama would have you believe.
Yeah.
Nobody took him seriously. He was the second president because he was Washington's VP. And he didn't win a second term because he was John Adams. That's not to say he wasn't an important figure, but he is like the least impressive of the founders. There's founders who didn't get to be president who are more, especially contemporaneously, were more well thought of.
Yeah. Well, like Ben Franklin.
Yeah. What are whippets? It's where you I don't know. Can we explain this without getting in trouble?
I don't know. That's kind of a gray area. You may have to look that one up.
Look that one up. Dude. Yeah, because I don't want to be giving anybody ideas.
We're dancing a fine line if we do an explanation on that.
Bro,
YouTube's been pretty weird about drug stuff lately.
There's I meant to tell you this at the beginning. We got a copyright claim yesterday, not from Shu, but from the people who use the underlying or make the underlying music that she uses in her video.
What?
Yeah. Oh well. Hey, you guys enjoy that 35 cents.
Weird. That's annoying.
Is what it is. It just made me laugh because I saw the copyright claim. I'm like, there's no way Shu claimed us. And she didn't. But yeah, apparently the people who make that music were like, we need monkeys 35 cents. Good luck to you. Use it in good health, my friends.
Oh, fuck them.
No.
I hope they take their 35 pieces of silver. And...
Oh, yeah, that is. I wasn't even meaning it that way, but yeah. Do I really want I really want to do that.
I don't know.
I know. There's a video of Marco Rubio that I do want to watch, but I'm not sure how well it'll come across since we're on the AT&T.
Oh yeah.
It's a great video, and it's a great video, and it's how Republicans should treat people. Manoa, thank you again. Ali Jamal is Nick Fuentes' fan who is Indian and kind of retarded. Oh, we're talking about Fuentes? Yeah, I definitely don't watch that. But Nick wants nothing to do. Wait, isn't Ali the one who was banging kids? Is that who I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Do I have the wrong Ali?
I don't know anything about Fuentes' butt clingers.
He was, if he's the guy I'm thinking of, he was actually a Ralph Klinger too, and the guy had some pedo accusations, and pretty much everybody was like, I am not talking to that guy. Anyway, so Nick wants nothing to do with him. He even banned Ali from AF events for no clear reason. Ali's been upset about it and even donated $1,000 to Nick, only to be told he's still banned. Well, yeah, why would you give somebody who banned you $1,000? That's just a fool and his money soon parted. Right?
Yeah. The guy doesn't sound very smart. So,
no.
I mean, yeah, some people just make poor life choices.
Yeah.
But not us. Give us all their money.
The fact we can't keep track of kid bangers' names is troublesome. It really is, Jirai. You're not wrong.
Well, there's so many of them these days. Did you see that ginger motherfucker that got busted?
No.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was high schoolers, but got one chick pregnant twice. It was bad, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jack, I want to.
On my timeline, so, yeah.
Okay. I want to help our Democrat friends out there. New think tank, Searchlight, pushes Democrats towards more popular positions. We didn't speak about it directly, but remember the fat chick we watched the other day talking to the little soy boy?
Oh, yeah. Chubs and pussy. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the fact that is part of a $20 million push. I told you guys she's bought and paid for that. Those 100,000 Substack subscribers are not real, but they have a $20 million push to try to get young men to come over to them. And they were like, you know what young men want? Fat chicks. Apparently they're going for the black audience because, like, get the fat white girls.
It's gonna make that joke.
A private meeting last month, or at a private meeting, a top Democrat strategist pitched party leaders and donors, we need to break through ideological lanes and reject interest group agendas if we plan to win again. Yes, he's right about that, or she. No, clearly that's a guy because I was right. The problem is how they're going about it. It's just more of the communist playbook of just repackage it and they'll like it. Manoa, thank you again. The one that harmed kids was Ali Alexander. Okay, my apologies to Ali Jamal, who still runs Nick's America First account. Wait, he's still employing that dude? Okay. This is Ali Jamal. He is into Lolicon, though, so still pedo. Who Nick hates because he's retarded. Here's the video. It is kind of funny. I'll check it out after the show. And thank you, Alan, who says, morning, Monk. Good morning, sir. Hope you're well. Adam Gentleson. What a fucked up gay name. Former chief of staff to Senator Fetterman and top aide to former Majority Leader Harry Reid used the retreat to preview his new policy research and messaging hub called Searchlight. Its goal, push the Democratic Party towards the most effective broadly popular positions regarding or regardless of which wing of the party they come from. So literally, Jack, lie to people. Tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, what do you expect from a bunch of fucking politicians and their stooges? They're a bunch of liars and deceivers.
You don't say it out loud. You say that shit
generally
behind
not.
closed doors.
You gotta dress it up though. Like we're just trying to allocate resources to the verbiage that the population wants. Remember, they're smarter than us, monkey. So the dum-dums are gonna be like, "Hey, messages, I like it."
Whatever happened with the Act Blue investigation? I don't know. I don't know if they're still doing it or what's going on. So those kind of just went away. You have to remember, anytime an investigation starts, fuck, you guys need to watch a whole lot more murder porn.
Yeah.
When you watch a television show like, say, Law and Order, right? Somebody commits a crime, and within a day or two, they've caught the criminal and he's in court. In real life, the investigation takes weeks, months, or years. And that's true whether you're talking about criminal or something like Act Blue, which I do believe is criminal. Digging into that. And that's going to take even longer because of the, how do I want to put this? The money laundering that's clearly going on there.
Yeah. Real quickly. Sorry.
I was just it's a lot harder to actually trace that kind of money to make an investigation where anything would stick. Go ahead. Sorry, bud.
Oh no, you're good. Thank you, Alan. He says, "Morning, my friend." Good morning, Alan. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, so Democrats, they're spending $20 million to get you young men to come hang out with them, and they're telling you they're going to lie to you. Just saying. You never seen 48 Hours, the movie, the show, or what? Because the movie 48 Hours was fun.
Yeah, the first 48's pretty good. 48 Hours, the crime documentary series, it's not bad. It'll do in a pinch, but I like my murder porn much more investigation discovery.
I don't know that I've seen too much of Investigation Discovery.
Oh, that's the greatest channel ever for murder porn. That's where you get snapped, wives with knives.
I'm not the biggest fan of Snapped. Wives with Knives, I might have seen once or twice. From what I've seen of things, the Discovery Channel ones where they do their special ones, like are they the ones that do I Killed My BFF?
Yeah. They do all those fun shows.
I don't like the presentation of it where it's like they're trying to make it into a sitcom / documentary.
Yeah, those ones I don't particularly care for. There was the Mean Girl Murders. That one was pretty good. I think they only had one season of that, though. I watch way too much of that shit in the background when I'm working.
I prefer the ones that are more mystery driven, but they come out at the beginning of them now and just like, here's the murderer.
Yeah,
let's pretend that it's a mystery.
Yeah, a little bit of like Dateline NBC is usually pretty solid. They don't tend to tell you who the murderer is right away.
Dateline, there's something about the delivery that drives me nuts, and I can't put my finger on it.
Stone Phillips's voice.
It's annoying and drives me away. All right, there was something else I know I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it was.
Supreme Court ruling.
What's Supreme? I didn't see we had one.
The racial discrimination thing.
Oh, did they give us a decision on that one?
That's what it said on the Twitter machines. I don't know.
SCOTUS, let's check that out. Supreme Court rules in favor of Mariana. Yes. What was the breakdown? Did I get it right? Supreme Court rules for straight woman who claims she was subject to reverse discrimination. Where's the breakdown?
It's in your pocket.
Why is it not telling me this in this article? You suck.
That'd be telling. It's part of the mystery monkey.
Tell me, don't show me. I'm wanting to read. Oh no, one. I said this was that this is how it would be. So that's why I'm wondering if I got the breakdown correct. Supreme Court home. Why is the opinion page got this on there instead of the latest opinions? I hate you. There we go. Ames versus was it the Ames case?
Was it Amos versus Andy?
Yes, it was a cookie dispute. Oh damn, they dropped several. We had 5 decisions dropped today. 6.
Oh, I only saw the people talk about one of them. So
most people only talk about the important cases. A lot of cases before the Supreme Court are like regulatory things for tax. I can't even give you all. It's boring shit that even I don't read. Petitioner Marlene Ames, a heterosexual woman, has worked for the Ohio Department. Yeah, so this is the right one. Where is my decision? There's no way Brown Jackson and Sotomayor went on this. Let's see. Thomas wrote a concurring. Now I got to read Supreme Court shit all night long, Jack.
You're welcome.
I want the dissent. Who dissented?
I don't know.
Damn, Thomas was wordy on this one. His is almost as long as the decision itself.
You had a lot to say, apparently.
Wait, did this go 9-0 or did they? Oh my God. Okay, sorry guys. This is my nerd time. This is my anime for those of you who are like, why does he like this? That's why. This is my kind of anime. I'll have to look at it. 9-0. Fuck. All right,
so
I was wrong on that.
What you're saying is we need an anime based on the Supreme Court?
I no, because I wouldn't watch that because that would be gay.
That's pretty fucked up, monkey.
I'm just saying. 9-0. Yeah, I thought for sure that one would go 6-3 with the women all siding with the in that case the state of Ohio, some place in Ohio.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We prefer to be called North Florida now.
North Florida. Wow, no, you just made me happy because that's how that case should have been decided.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was 9-0, but yeah, good on them. Because they basically just solidified that it's not reverse discrimination, it's just discrimination.
Right. And look, I am all for being able, although this is the Ohio Department of Youth Services, so it's a government thing. In private, if you own a business and you don't want to hire short white people, I don't care. It's your business. Probably not going to be the best way to run it, but it's your business. When it comes to the government, that's a little bit different. That should have the equal opportunity things, Jack.
Uh-huh.
But you can't have, we're for equal opportunity, except for you fuckers. That's no, sorry. Anyway, Jack, somebody made a video and they sent it to me privately. And I'm not going to show the video on stream.
Does it have wieners in it?
No. It's a really nice video. They're just asking my opinion. And I don't know that they want this out there. So they did say they want my opinion. And they did mention that I might do it on the show. So I don't think they have a problem with me mentioning it here. But basically, it was about the discussion we had last night about my crippleness and how I deal with it. Oh boy. I don't have a choice. When something bad happened, remember Kennedy? I had to become a hero. They sank my boat.
Oh, I thought you meant him getting his head blown off.
No, he didn't respond. They asked
Oh.
him questions after that, but he was a bitch and wouldn't talk. No, the reality of it is I have two choices. I could give up and be like, my life sucks because I'm in some pain, or I can do my very best to stay happy and just deal with the pain. Either way, the pain is going to be there. And I've seen the people who embrace their misery. And if I ever get like that, I give Luigi Mangione permission to shoot me.
Uh,
I deal with it the same way I deal with everything. I look for the joy in life, and that's what I do, and that's how I keep going. And yeah, I have my moments. I had a very rough day, Jack. Very rough day, pain wise. But I also got to go see two of my grandchildren. And you know which one I want to concentrate on?
Senior grandkids.
See my grandkids. The baby was like, Papa. She kept yelling for me. So Lady Monkey's pushing her around in a wagon. And yes, I said pushing a wagon. Oh, thank you, Toasted. Sorry, can you check Streamlabs? Sorry, yes. But Lady Monkey's pushing her around, her and her sister around. And she kept yelling for me anytime Lady Monkey would accidentally get between me and her. She'd start yelling, Papa. So I'd have to either move over, or Lady Monkey would have to move over so she could see me. It was amazing. Manoa, thank you so much. How much would it cost to react to this video? I know it's random, but I think it would be funny to watch. Sorry if I missed your response. I spaced out. No, you didn't miss my response. I missed this donation. I apologize for that. I don't really do. If you give me money, I will respond to this kind of thing. It has to be something I find interesting in the first place, or at least the topic of it, you know. But when I put the link you gave me into chat, it comes up and tells me that page doesn't exist. Can you just send it to me in DMs over on Twitter, since that seems to be where the link is for? Yep, you have no choice but to deal with whatever comes your way. Yes, exactly. And I feel like that's how you should be with everything. You get to decide how bad your life is. Circumstances are going to happen to you, but whether you look at it with, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me, or, well, shit, that happened, let's go on with my day. That is up to you. And
yeah, sitting around holding a pity party for yourself is kind of lame.
I've caught myself doing that, Jack, where I'm just pitiful. I've told this story before. When this first happens, for God, maybe a year, 2, 3, I was in, I don't want to say I was depressed, Jack, but I was definitely headed there. And I'm laying on the couch one day on my stomach because couldn't lay on my back. It hurt too much. And I'm crying, literally crying from the pain. And then I started laughing. And this might sound a little fucked up, but I started laughing because I started thinking of my daughter's friend whose mom had just been given 6 months to live.
Damn.
She's long since passed, Jack. And I was laughing because of how fucking pathetic I was. Because there I am. Yeah, I'm in pain. But I get to live, and as far as I know, a long life. And since then, at least 7 years, Jack.
Yeah, keep
here
it up.
I am.
I need this job.
Feeling sorry for myself. You know who had reason to feel sorry for herself? The lady who was told she got 6 months to live. And I laughed at myself for what a little bitch I was being. And I've tried really hard not to get back to that kind of bitchhood. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. That sometimes it's just overwhelming. Suck it up. Man up. And I know that's not what anybody wants to hear. Like, no, do you like meditate? And I'm not saying this about the person who sent this question in, but like, how do you deal? There is no deal. It just is. It just is. You can either be a bitch about it, or you can still go out there and live your life the best you can. My sunglasses just fell off.
You get up and you put one foot in front of the other.
Yes, absolutely. The fact that this is going to last the rest of my life doesn't change it at all, you know? it actually makes it a little easier to deal with rather than, hey, this could go away. If I had hope, oh my God, that would be horrible. I have no hope that this is ever going to change. So why dwell and make it worse? Sometimes in the wrong order. I feel like I missed something there. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to address that, and you can always just hit me up in my DMs if you have questions for me or anything. I'm happy to answer them. But and if you want me to share your, he has a YouTube channel, Jack, and he sent me a private video on his YouTube channel.
Ah.
He had a video up yesterday talking about our video from yesterday. Yes, I went and checked out the rest of your channel. I do that when I look at channels. I didn't watch the whole video. I do also want to address Satsu, because Satsu has started posting again on his Let Him Cook channel. And he asked me my opinion of his videos that he's put up, and I've only got to watch 1.5 of them because he's been doing, at least 2 days ago, one every day. So there were 5 new ones from the last time I'd seen. And he went over the fat lady and the cuck boy I was talking about just a little bit ago.
Uh-huh.
And he had told us in chat that he had responded to that video. And Satsu, if you're out there, I love you, my friend, but you are far too fucking nice to people. One of the things I like about Satsu is that he doesn't go into most situations outraged. And I think American politics would be a lot better if people didn't go into everything outraged. I think that I can't remember the first video of his I saw, but it was one where me and him were like in complete agreement about everybody overreacting. And we were right, by the way, because people saw like a half clip and they responded to that. Like, look at this. And the clip was out of context. It was completely out of context. And that's where me and Satsu get along. I think you need the full context of stuff. Where we differ is that I'm still a shithead to people when they're dumb, and he gives them the benefit of the doubt that I don't. The Hassan argument is one of the greatest examples publicly where you can see this, where Hassan said streaming is one of the hardest jobs, and Satsu gives him the benefit of the doubt because later Hassan says, I meant of the jobs I've had, which he fucking didn't. He fucking didn't. But he's like, no, that's what he was talking about. And I'm like, no, that's not what he was talking about. He was clearly being a douchebag. And Satsu's just nicer than I am. And that's a reality. He's nicer than I am. And he gives people benefit of the doubt where I stopped doing that in my teens. I'm a grizzled old man. I don't trust people anymore.
You should.
But like with those two, I mean, he says that they're trying, and they actually reached out to men to find out what they thought, and
they ignored them.
Yeah, the one point where you see that they have an example that they don't like, they're just like, that's not what they actually think. And I would be with him and say, yes, they actually went out and spoke to men. If by what we hear her say, we couldn't tell that she went to one of her safe spaces and talked to men who agree with her.
Yep.
She didn't ring up Charlie Kirk and ask him his fucking opinion.
That'd have been hilarious.
She'd have hung up.
Oh, yeah. I'd prefer that she went on the whatever podcast.
That would be funny.
I would watch that one. I don't even watch that fucking nonsense, but the comedy value is just right there for the taking.
I've watched a couple of clips of it recently because something else I watched, suddenly whatever started popping up. And I still want to say Andrew Wilson's an idiot. I'm convinced the things he gets right, it's on accident. But dear God, do the guests that they have on there make him look intelligent?
I saw you posted about that clip that.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Some of their reactors and guests are just dumb.
Toasted, I will check that out after the show, my friend. Should we watch that?
Yes.
We can skip the Andrew part of it, I guess, or I guess we could watch the whole thing. It's on the AT&T, so again, guys, the video is going to be kind of chunky, but chunky, yeah.
It's gonna get fat.
Yes. Oh, but thank you, Toasted, for the donation. Just sent the DM. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So this is the whatever podcast that this chick is going to react to. We're doing reactception here. Andrew is talking about some stuff, and I forget how long his part of this is. We're really here for her, but we need some context.
My view is that patriarchy is always going to end up being the default, especially the more feminism there is. You'll push more people into the patriarchy role, and here's why. Because of force doctrine. Force doctrine is a doctrine which I came up with, which tries to describe a phenomenon which you yourself are going to have to concede is true.
Have you ever heard him talk about force doctrine?
No, but I don't watch the show on a regular basis, so
yeah,
might be something he talks about.
I saw a clip of him arguing with the feminists where he brings it up, and maybe I skipped his part of this, if I'm being honest, when I watched this earlier. So I don't know how deep he gets into it.
Yeah, he explains it here in a second.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. Short answer, might makes right. Not that he's saying that's a good thing, it's just a reality.
Half of the world right now, if men decide to, they can basically exterminate every single woman inside of their nations, and there's not a damn thing women can do about it. We can find this in most of the Middle Eastern nations. We can find this basically anywhere that we look, right? They can't actually do anything about it. Also, when it comes to rights,
and he's not wrong about that.
No, because he's talking specifically about like nations, so you could go get women from another nation.
He's also, and even here, because he says in half the world, in all of the world, men are bigger, stronger, faster than women. If we wanted to eliminate women, we could. If we wanted to is a big part of that.
Yeah, well, hate fact.
Social construction, product of the mind. Because of that, they are not inherent. And since this is the case, force is what is the practical applicator. And if men decided to, by force, take away women's rights, women cannot do anything about it. The opposite is not true. If women wanted to take away men's rights and men didn't want to let them, they could not. And because of this force doctrine application, women's rights all come from men, not inherently from themselves.
Yeah, that's the basis of his argument, and again, he's not wrong. If men wanted to subjugate women and keep them in caves and in little tents for their period and stuff, we could. And we know this, Jack, because it happens.
It's historical reality.
Yeah.
Therefore, feminism is a lie, complete lie.
That's not what makes feminism a lie. There's so much more to it than that. This is where, see, he accidentally gets shit right, is my contention.
Force doctrine.
Okay, now is where we really want to. So if anybody doesn't get it, just basically, women only have rights because men allow them to. And I know there's going to be people, how dare, no, when you're talking about the physical ability to force somebody to do something, men have that, women don't.
Yeah. Anybody that thinks that men can't subjugate women has no footing in reality. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Throughout all of mankind's history, men have been physically able to dominate women. You don't have to like that, but that's why we have civilization. So we don't do that kind of savagery.
I think it shows how good men are that we don't.
Yeah, we have restraint. You're welcome, ladies.
Biggest problem with this is that we're not the kind of society that would take this man out back and do what needs to be done.
I addressed that statement on my Twitter feed, by the way.
Hey, sweetie, why don't you prove him wrong and go do it?
No. You know what she's talking about here, right? You saw Revenge of the Nerds. You know what happens behind sheds? Blowjobs. She wants to blow him.
I don't remember a blowjob in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, the two dudes, the jock and the nerd, ended up behind the shed together. Was that maybe that was a different movie?
That's got to be a different movie. That's not Revenge of the Nerds. Revenge of the Nerds is where he puts on the mask and goes and bangs the cheerleader.
Oh yeah. But wasn't she supposed? I don't remember what movie I'm thinking. It had nerds in it and it had jocks, so it was around the 80s. They all blur together after a while.
I feel like I know what movie you're talking about, but I can't place that scene exactly, like who was in it. Porky's?
Yeah.
Was it a Porky's one?
That might have been Porky's.
I know what you're talking about. It's definitely not Revenge of the Nerds, but fuck, what movie is that? Fuck. Anyway. No, seriously, like our problem with society is we won't go put him behind the shed and do what needs to be done. Either beat his ass or kill him. I don't know which one the bitch is talking about, but just for the record.
She wants to suck his dick, I'm telling you.
The fact that you don't think you could go do it on your own proves his fucking point.
Yeah, she needs somebody else to do it. You know, like a man.
Yeah. He's not saying that he even supports it. It's just what reality is.
What reality? How dare you?
And she immediately starts off with, we don't live in a society where we'll take care of this guy. Who take care of him? Andrew's fat and out of shape. He ain't going to fight back hard. Go take him, lady. Anyway.
I say that in like a philosophical way. Do you know what I mean?
Philosophically take him out back, huh?
Yeah, in Minecraft.
In Minecraft. Well, sweetie, here's your chance. And I've already watched this, so I know how this turns out. You can metaphorically take him behind the shed right now and prove him wrong.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We established that's not what's happening here.
Divine says, I can fix her. No, you can't. Not for a few years. She's way too young and dumb.
Like, I'm not actually suggesting that, so please calm the fuck down. But what I am saying is that this man is a broken specimen. Like, if we look at this from an evolutionary perspective, this man is fighting forward progress.
What?
We have to deny reality to progress, apparently.
To this woman, a male barista is forward progress.
Yes.
One of those little limp-wristed soy boys with testosterone bordering on negative number. And that makes me sad. That is not forward progress. That is an unhealthy mutation.
Why does she look surprised? Why are her eyebrows so high?
She has a very long face. I think she might be a gray alien.
Dude. I was watching real quick. Go ahead and get your thing first.
Oh, thank you, Evolved Potato. This kind of sounds a bit like one of the core philosophical ideas of Robert Heinlein's Starship Troopers. It's probably where you took it from.
Probably.
That at the end of the day, violence is the supreme authority. It doesn't matter if you're morally superior. If the other person can beat you up, they win.
Yes.
I mean, it kind of is the philosophy. It's well, there's a group that follows this shit. I forget what they're called, but they read a book about Thor. It's often associated with like white nationalism.
The simple, I mean, that is just basic human interaction. If you don't want to do something and somebody bigger than you has the ability to force you to do it, you're going to do it whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it okay. It's dependent on what they want. Like if they want you to eat your vegetables so you grow strong, okay. If they want to, make you squeal like a pig, then that's right. That's not okay.
Yeah.
But the underlying philosophy doesn't change based on the morality of the action.
Yeah, the only thing that prevents that is the veneer of civilization.
Yes.
Which, we're quickly losing thanks to the importation of the third world. Thank you, Keldrick. All those words she just said have too many syllables for her to understand.
Yeah.
She's reading a script. Somebody else probably wrote it. Probably her boyfriend. The one that watches from the closet, if you know what I'm saying. But thank you, Keltrick. You guys are funny.
Shanna Lee says, I've seen this influencer and literally everything about men pisses her off. Yeah, I can see that. She's not a very smart young lady.
She's probably
Like,
really lonely and been pumped and dumped a few too many times.
Literally slowing us down as a society, and we're just letting him. I really think an advanced society would have more to say about this. And it goes to show, too, that, like, religion is always backwards progress.
Religion actually takes the opposite view of that, especially Christianity.
Yeah.
Christianity 100% does not take might makes right as a philosophy, except with God himself.
Yeah, because vengeance is his.
Yes.
He reserved it in advance. He called it dibsies.
When people start falling for this stuff, it becomes...
Okay. It's not falling for stuff to point out reality. Do you know why you can't have an atheist state? Or not, sorry, not atheist, anarchist state. Because somebody who's bigger and stronger and wants to take over does so. We call them warlords.
Yeah, somebody will organize other people and eventually start running things. There is no successful anarchy ever.
Even when it comes to democracy, we have to enforce that shit at the end of a gun. If somebody tried to overthrow our government, what would we do? We'd shoot them. Even in a democracy, you got to have somebody there with the might to back it up. You're welcome. Think about that for the rest of your life, that you're only living this way because you're forced to. If you don't believe me, don't pay your taxes. See what happens.
It's very clear how many people are not meant to progress. They're not meant to move forward because like an animalistic mindset makes more sense to them than the alternative.
She wants to kill retarded people.
She wants to kill retards and eat them on an island.
Some cripples because they're holding back progress.
Okay, lady. The idea of women empowerment is still a pretty new idea. Even with, advances in feminist ideology, the major advances don't come until the 20th century. Progress started before the 20th century. Just saying. I know. It's weird.
She could do what Tariq Nasheed does. She's going to say all these famous people that did stuff were actually women.
No, what she's going to do is misunderstand terminology and try to use different terms that mean the same thing.
Yeah, she plays word semantic game, but she seems like she probably has some underlying weird feminist bullshit theology going on that she's going to tell you all about for $2.99 a month.
I think women have always had power that they, especially modern feminists, don't want to recognize, and they have power over their husbands or their boyfriends. You ladies really do. That's where your power is over what we do. It's why men voted to get rid of alcohol, even though they were all drunks, to make the bitch happy. Look how that worked out.
Yeah.
That is that. You can point to that as how women have influenced things, even though they didn't have the power. They had the power to influence their husbands. But when it came to forcing through their ideology, they had to do it through men who have the ability to force. It's just the way it is.
That's really the thing at the heart of this. We can do things by force. Did you know that? And it's like, yeah, we know. But like on a day-to-day basis, most of us don't want to live that way.
He didn't say anybody wanted to live that way or should live that way. He just said that's the way it is. And if you go into it without acknowledging that, you're going to be blindsided. This is why you have to acknowledge facts, even if you don't like that fact. Because otherwise, none of your arguments are going to make sense unless it's by accident. Andrew.
And we have actually been trying this whole time to build a society where we don't have to live like that. You're the one that's literally stopping forward progress. Like, it's bad enough that you're
One, Andrew is not that important in the grand scheme of things. And two, that progress is still through the force doctrine that he talks about. I love these that I came up with. It's just a retelling of other things.
Yeah, it's not anything new.
you're a misogynist, all that stuff. What this man is asserting is actually a perversion of the survival of the fittest.
No, it is literally survival of the fittest. It is a perversion of what does survival of the fittest mean? The most likely to carry on the species.
Yeah,
that's who's going to win. Yeah.
The perversion of evolution. This doctrine literally states survival of the strongest.
In nature, that's how it works, sweetheart.
I don't think she knows that, quite honestly.
Well, I mean, you can look at things like survival of the fittest. If you take brightly colored tropical fish and put them in a tank with a predator fish, the brighter colored ones are going to get killed. Therefore, the lighter colored ones will not. And so that's going to be the ones that procreate, and suddenly you don't have any more bright fish, right? But that's not what we're talking about here. Because if that big tropical fish was stronger than the predator fish, he still gets to live no matter what color he is, because he's bigger and stronger.
Does he
just saying
call the other thing a racist, or how does that work?
Yeah.
Right? If somebody can take you out physically by force, then you lose. You should have no rights. Your rights are enforced by other people.
That's not what he said. He just pointed out that your rights are enforced by other people. Jack.
Monkey.
Let's say you are you're getting strong-armed robbed.
Okay.
And 2 police officers show up.
Okay. Are they robbing me?
No. Somebody else is robbing you.
Oh, okay.
For justice's sake, who would you rather show up? 2 women or 2 men?
2 men, hands down. Not even a question. 2 chick cops, what are they going to do? Get hurt? What are they going to bleed on the robber? Have you ever seen the majority of the police women videos where they're trying to apprehend somebody? And there's like 3 of them and they can't take an average looking dude down. It's sad.
Have you seen the British one where the guy's in his yard and they want to arrest him and he's refusing to cooperate? So the fat lady just blocks the way and he's pushing on her and still making good progress. And the other 2 are like, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah, it's always sad. Like, I've seen a couple of chick cops that can actually hold their own, but they are the outlier.
You basically don't have like a place to speak from. At the end of the day, it's like any half of the population could plan and scheme to do that. You would all have to be in on it though. And also, like, men already do this kind of stuff and they go to jail because we're trying to evolve past that as a society.
I don't think she understands the analogy he was making at all.
I don't think she understands how evolution works either. She invoked evolution a little bit ago, and now she's like, we're trying to evolve as a society. Evolution, especially survival of the fittest, which is the only provable evolution, isn't something you manufacture. That's not how it works.
Yeah, you can buy it at Walmart, right?
Yeah. We're going to afford what you're talking about, sweetie. The best case scenario was like eugenics, maybe. But
yeah, she's absolutely talking about like filtering out the unevolved.
Yeah, what she's actually talking about here is our propaganda. Our propaganda is failing if you say this stuff. That's not evolution, sweetie. It's propaganda you're talking about.
Look, I figured out. You know what would help her weird features?
What's that?
Handmaid Tale outfit.
I can see that. She kind of has that nun face anyway.
Yeah, it would distract from her like a weirdly elongated face, which is creeping me out.
Forrest says, I don't think she understands what force means. She does. She just doesn't like it. That's all.
That as a doctrine or as like even like a philosophical argument is fucking stupid. We've already decided as a society that we're not going to do things by force on an individual level, right?
Did we already decide that? How come I didn't get a vote in that, Jack?
We let chimpanzees vote now. What kind of monkey are you?
I'm a spider monkey.
A spider monkey? That was weirdly specific. Like you came up with that right there.
I actually made a monkey, my monkey avatar once as Spider-Man, and yeah, it was cool. So I call him Spider Monkey.
That was a cool one.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest actually means something else entirely. If the evolutionary programming required the survival of the strongest, then guess what? We would still have dinosaurs.
We'd still have dinosaurs, which scientists tell us were wiped out by an asteroid if survival of the strongest is real.
Now, they had a tournament of champions, and the last one had a heart attack, so they're all gone. Yeah.
What I heard her say. Look, there's a lot of things you could point to and go, see, here's where the strong didn't survive. Okay, but dinosaurs, really?
To be fair, they didn't survive. They were pretty strong, except for that whole like mass starvation because they don't have enough food, and that rock falling out of the sky.
Oh shit!
Which, if they were stronger, they could have caught it.
That's right. They it's not that asteroid was stronger than the dinosaurs. It's just that evolution isn't real as Andrew believes it to be. All right.
Dinosaurs. We would have never evolved into humans to begin with because humans are much weaker than the species we evolved from.
Yeah, but we could use tools and they can't.
Yes. And
we're
again,
smarter.
The species we directly evolved from don't exist anymore.
Yeah, because we killed them off or outbred them. Also, I don't buy the thing. We were created by aliens. Let's be honest.
I think we were too. But if you're going to take the evolutionary chain, there's like 6 steps between us and apes that don't exist anymore.
Yeah, that they have no proof of because that's how little they existed. Also, which one of us is in cages right now? Because right? I think if you went to the deepest, darkest part of Africa, you're not going to wander into Ape City and be like, have you seen Taylor? No, that was a Planet of the Apes reference for those illiterate savages out there that have never seen that.
Even with the human brain, us being smarter than them, it's not like we outsmart them in a fight and they just get confused and fall over dead. We picked up tools to fight back with. Yeah, if I got into a cage with a monkey, say an orangutan, Jack, he can pull my fucking arms off.
Yeah, beat you to death with them. But given the opportunity and knowledge of the terrain, you could forge weapons, pit traps, all sorts of crazy stuff. Because that's what our brain allows us to do, and our opposable thumbs, because we're awesome like that, which is why kittens don't rule the world.
And her argument that society has decided not to be like this, well, what do you do with people who break your societal mold there?
You give them free housing and Nutella, and you call it
No. Not those people.
Oh, like, not the splody boom booms. Gotcha.
No, if somebody like forced her to do something she didn't want to do, she'd call the police. They would come with guns and force to stop them from doing it. And if the police have more force than that person, then that person stops. You're literally proving Andrew's point. Not Not all force, Jack, is physical force.
No, there's
Well,
force of
sorry,
will.
body force.
Yeah.
A gun is a force of, in this regard, forcing people to do shit. You can use a gun for that. Now I
Indeed.
know what she would say is like, hey, women can use guns too, and yes, just not as well as men.
Yeah, because just shoot like a girl.
And yes, I know there's some absolutely wonderful female shots that have existed throughout the centuries, but there's a reason we know their names and not all the names of the guys who are that good.
True.
Because we don't walk on all fours, because we stand upright, our offspring are extremely vulnerable. So we naturally, like, we have to back away from the whole force doctrine.
Aren't all babies vulnerable?
Some aquatic life is born basically ready to go. Vulnerable, yes, but not as vulnerable as humans, where if you just left a baby laying in the floor, it's gonna die.
Yeah, I get
But
that. I mean, birds are kind of the same way.
you know how we protected those children?
With the weapons we made and the
With
walls we build.
with the threat of force.
Oh yeah. I thought
If
we
we want to
protected them with hugs.
It's what we do, yeah.
survive. So now I need you to connect the dots, okay? So this man is actually actively trying to walk us back from our actual apex positions of humans, and he's trying to walk us back down the mountain to an animalistic way of thinking.
Is he bringing tablets with him? Because I remember that
Yes.
story.
He's only bringing 2 because the third one he couldn't carry.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that was the first person to download stuff onto a tablet from the cloud. Just saying.
Andrew is not saying we should go out and fist fight apes, you stupid bitch. He's walking us back down the mountain off of our apex predator spot.
Does she know what apex means? Even like backward cultures like you see in the Middle East are still apex compared to most animal kingdoms.
I don't get how dumb you have to be to think like her. And the reality is she's not even denying what Andrew says. She's trying to, but she keeps proving his point. She just doesn't like what he said.
This is a product of the Department of Education, which is why Trump needs to shut it down.
This is a product of feminism.
Like I said, the Department of Education.
They don't like the reality that men are physically stronger. And if you want proof that you only have your rights because of men, 19th Amendment, sweetie.
Yeah. You needed special paperwork.
You needed men to pass that law. You sure as shit didn't rise up against the founders the way the founders rose up against King George to get your fucking rights. You didn't do that shit. You browbeat the men in your life to give you that. So stop it.
A completely force-based society where unless you can beat somebody up, you don't even have the right to vote. Which
I mean, that would change voting a lot.
That was literally the way the country was until the 19th Amendment. You couldn't go vote, lady. There were some places that allowed females to vote early on, Jack, and then they were like, yeah, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, but if women owned land, they could vote, but that was so very rare.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, if all of this were carried out to its logical conclusion or to whatever perverted conclusion Andrew has in his head, where all the men wake up tomorrow and unalive all of us women, that's not even a good threat, because what are all the men going to do then? They're going to unalive out. DIEOUT. You're going to affect.
Andrew didn't say we should go kill all women. Oh, that straw man just took an ass whipping and a half.
Yeah, he said if certain nations decided to do it, not the whole planet. Also, that's dumb because we can grow people in artificial wombs, and does she not know what a real doll is?
He was talking about subjugation, and he's right about that when it comes to men and women. And we can just point to places that exist in the world right now where it's happening. Remember Afghanistan, Jack? When we leave, they're totally going to still let women go to school. How's that working out?
By school, you mean the kitchen, right?
That shit lasted less than a week.
Yeah.
It's not a threat, it's an observation. Yes.
Effectively end the human race. What I'm trying to tell y'all is that this man's brain is actually broken.
Pot, have you met the kettle yet? I think you'd get along. I've been very clear. I don't think highly of Andrew Wilson. I think I've been clear on that, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, he is 100 times smarter than you. This is the only reason Andrew looks smart is because they have women like this on the Whatever podcast.
Yeah.
And it's just upsetting because his content genuinely appeals to children because...
Okay, maybe she means like 13, 14, 15-year-olds and technically, yeah, children. But when people say stuff like this, I always think like the Bluey crowd. Like my granddaughters are like, I really love Andrew Wilson's podcast.
They have little
Grandpa.
Andrew Wilson action figures that interact with Big Bird and shit.
How dare we tell the children the truth?
Children are the only people who reason this way. The fact that he's given a microphone and a platform and just allowed to speak like this without once again being taken out back, whatever that may mean. I'm not insinuating or suggesting.
By the way, Andrew was in a debate right there. That's why they kept showing that other that lady who kept having to pull her titties back into her shirt.
Yeah.
He was in a debate right there. There's your chance right there to take him out back philosophically and win the argument and prove him wrong. And what do you resort to? Somebody needs to take his ass out back. Because
after they deplatform him, apparently.
Because our evolution isn't working how I think it should.
Where do these people get the idea that somebody's just walking around like Johnny Appleseed handing out microphones and podcasts? Like,
because that's how
given a platform.
Because that's how the left does things.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like NPR,
Mm-hmm.
mooching off other people.
They are the most astroturfed grassroots ever. Like that fat chick we were talking about earlier. She is only a thing because Democrats went, she needs to be a thing. And they're throwing millions of dollars at her. So that's how they expect everything is. It's just somebody in a conspiracy to get children to act like kids, I guess. Lady, I will give you that kids do embrace survival of the fittest way more than we adults do because we are civilized. But they're not picking that up from Andrew. It's innate. It's they understand I'm bigger than you. I can make you do things. And we have to get that. We have to train them away from that, Jack.
Yeah, it's called civilizing them.
It's amazing how many of his she's proving his point in so many different ways, and she's not bright enough to get it.
Well, brainwashing has that effect on people, especially dumb people.
Anything. I'm just saying there are things that a healthy society would do in this case, and this is how I know that we're nowhere close.
You mean you would take him out back and apply some force?
I believe she's trying to say that they would filter out the undesirables.
Forcefully?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did somebody try that a while back in the 40s? Some guy with a funny mustache.
A healthy society would act just like Andrew says. That's a weird take, sweetheart. Violence is progress. Got it. That's what she's arguing here, but she's completely missing the point that her argument is that he needs to be forced to think differently or else. Where's he wrong then, lady?
Look, proving him right proves him wrong, see?
Because if you had the power to force him to do that, you would. You don't have that power, so you can't. Where's he wrong?
Girl power?
Girl power. My ovaries told me so.
This man is literally spreading around a rhetoric of fuck all of our progress. Let's just go back to being animals. Let's live under the threat of whoever is like physically the strongest wins. That's
already the threat you live under, whether you want to admit it or not. You not admitting it doesn't make it not true. You know, Jack, I can think the sky is red. It's not going to make it red. It's actually black right now here.
Excuse me. It's called manifesting, and it's totally real, Monkey. I read about it in secret.
To have whatever they want. He's literally trying to take away our fitness, right? It's the survival of the fittest, not the strongest.
Tomato. She thinks not strongest actually is an argument there.
What if it's the survival of the CrossFittest? I don't do CrossFit. I'm fat.
And the way that we fit into our environment is actually by being cooperative, right? This is why women are always brought in when things get really, really bad.
Sure, honey. Sure.
I need an example. I do.
I would love to hear several examples from this lunatic.
Sometimes the strongest is the fittest. True.
And
especially if you're talking about without weaponry, it's absolutely always true. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So what she's saying is there was a big war, so the women got together and decided on peace accords.
Yes.
That's how that's done. Not, drop a couple of nukes on the Japanese to get them to surrender. No, the women were like, oh, now Japan, we need to have a little discussion about this. And they were like, okay.
Because we're the only ones that understand this. Men have tried to do this force thing for thousands of years. And
men have done the force thing for thousands of years, sweetheart.
Yeah, does she know what the word conquest means?
The only reason you have rights, lady, is because men gave them to you. And men protect them. That's it. You should be saying thank you.
Look at where it's gotten us. We're back to square one every time. And this man wants to take us even further.
Wow, you think with all your women powers, you could have stopped that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, she was going to recruit from the Middle East, but nobody's husband would give them permission.
I mean, she's not wrong that's where they're trying to take society into this mamby-pamby bullshit feminine world. That's true.
Yeah, but she considers that a step forward, and it's not.
That's
not even a lateral move.
Yeah, that's not to say we should be like the Middle East. We shouldn't be Iran and Afghanistan and China. And yes, I know those aren't all in the Middle East. I started at the Middle East and moved east. We shouldn't be like that. Yeah, I believe women should have rights. But when you're talking philosophically, Andrew is 100% right. Women have rights because men allow women to have rights. Because if we wanted to, we could take them away. We're bigger and stronger than you. I'm not saying that as a threat to women. I'm saying that to be like, see how we're not?
You and your nuance.
She could make the argument that Andrew is right, and that's why we're civilizing and and trying to bring it to a place where we're not acting in our animalistic way. And instead, she's just like, nope, that doesn't work. Strong has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, tell that to the world champion female soccer team.
Or the high school boys that beat them.
Mm,
Well, Monkey, if strength really mattered, the dinosaurs would still be among us.
see, this is why so many of us men believe that it's our job to protect women, because they can't do it themselves.
Because some of them need helmets.
That one definitely needs a helmet, a bib, and probably a 24/7 caretaker, because she is a danger to herself. The feminists told me I'm strong. They lied to you. They just lied to you.
Yeah.
And feminism is a lie. It starts at the notion that we're all equal, physically and otherwise, and we're just not. Anyway, Jack, how dare you make me defend Andrew Wilson? Fucking bitch.
Better than Andrew Tate, right? Oh, wait, maybe not. Kind of the same.
No, he's better than Tate. I'll give him that. There's no rape charges against Wilson.
That's true. Andy, as far as I know, he's never trafficked women.
Yeah, and I've never heard him say that guys in a dress are sexier than an ugly woman.
That's true.
That he'd rather be hanging out with dudes that he can bang than chicks that he can bang. Fuck, Andrew,
Well,
what is wrong with you?
Hot dudes, right? That's what he said.
Yeah, a pretty man, a hot man. Anyhow, and yes, for the record, 100%, I would bang the ugly chick over the pretty dude every day because she has vagina. Yeah. Greta Thunberg, how dare you? I should be in school right now. I didn't think of this until I was watching Gutfeld talk about it. Remember, she was all about saving the environment. That was the most important thing ever, ever, ever. And now Gaza is more important than the environment. Did we fix the environment and I wasn't paying attention?
She's on a side project.
She couldn't go to school because of the environment.
Well, she's old now, so her usefulness to the environmentalists is over. So I guess she's trying to rebrand as a hero of the brown people.
That seems a weird move, though.
It is, but look, she's desperate for relevance, and her parents probably need more money because they're a bunch of stupid hippies. So I don't know. This whole flotilla thing is really dumb. And she was saying how it's like their mandate to pick up illegal migrants or something. I don't know. It's confusing to me what she's up to.
What's she doing saving the Gazans if they're just going to die from global warming?
Busy work.
We're waiting on something in that environmental stuff, so I'm gonna go save some terrorists.
Yeah, it's the environmental equivalent of moving the deck chairs around on the Titanic.
Yeah, that was the Marco Rubio video we would have watched if we had better internet going on over here. Somebody asked him about Gaza, and do you think the Jews should stop? He's like, fuck no, they should get rid of Hamas once and for all. And the bitch like, but what about the civilians, the children? He goes, I blame Hamas for that.
Yeah, stop
Thank
hiding behind
you.
him. Yeah, it was a good response.
Mm-hmm.
I was really surprised he actually had the balls to say all that.
Yep. And I wish more politics, because typically we have two kinds of politicians. You have the AOCs who are like, those terrorists are wonderful. And then you have the Lindsey Grahams who are like, we should kill everybody. It is possible to think Israel has problems and think that doing whatever they need to get rid of Hamas is fine. These are people who have been terrorizing them for decades.
You are good with that nuance stuff.
Yeah. Fuck Hamas. When they're all out, then we can talk. Until then, fuck off. I don't want to hear about your whining. What's happening to their children in Gaza is the result of their fucking parents. Fuck those parents for putting their children in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, We're gonna wrap up here. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so kind. Jack, anything on the show?
No, I got nothing. I got some projects close to done, but yeah, still plugging away at them. I've been real busy lately, so I haven't had a chance to really work on too much. But thank you guys so much for the donations and all the support you give us. Thanks for coming out. You guys are awesome, and you're all very beautiful people.
For the gaming channel, summer's here, and I need to get some trees cut down before my satellite works more regularly. That's why we've had so many interruptions lately, Jack.
Yeah.
There's one or two
Foliage.
trees that are a pain in the ass for the satellite, and until I get the money to cut those down, I haven't given up gaming. I think I might try posting video of game since I can't stream it, and we'll see how that works out. But haven't given that up. People have been asking me about it. Just so you know, that's why. Because somehow my son, who lives further in the boonies, gets high-speed internet, and I can't. He's got fiber out there, and I don't. It makes no sense. Makes no sense.
It does. The people around you, the cable companies hate you. That's why you should move.
The fiber that he has was moving this way down a major highway, and about 8 miles towards him, they got bought out, and the new company stopped laying new line.
That sounds right.
Fucking shitheads. Anyway, so guys, thanks for joining us. Jack, a pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
What time is it? Why are the birds already out there? It's 5 a.m. It's dark. Fucking hate birds.
Is that what that is? I thought that was outside my window.
No, those are birds outside my window.
Well, that's weird. Yeah, I have an owl that lives in a tree near me, and it scares the birds so they don't sing in the morning.
I want an owl.
Owls are pretty cool. He walks out and he's like, "Who?" And I'm like, "It's just me. It's Jack." And he's like, "Okay."
Thank you, Jariah, who says, "Monkey, try Starlink. It's actually good." I've had Starlink for well over I'm almost on 2 years at Starlink, right?
Yeah, easily.
The problem is where I have to point the satellite, there's trees in the way, and it's not real thick, but it's enough that they move a little bit and will block the signal for a second, and I'm screwed. So I got to get those trees cut down, and then we'll be actually ready to go.
Yeah. You should find some crazy old hillbilly with a box of dynamite.
The trees are pretty close to my house. I don't want dynamite anywhere near it.
Trust me, hill folk know what they're doing. It'd be fine.
If they did, they'd have all their teeth and relatives that they didn't have to marry.
And most their fingers. But that's neither here nor there. I say just take a chance on one.
No.
He'll work for booze.
Lady, yeah, that's what you want. Somebody cutting down trees near your house. Drunk.
With dynamite.
With dynamite. Guys, we're going to wrap up, Jack. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you for everything you rock. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye now.
Bye, buddy.
I got a song in my heart. And I need to shard.